radio.com. Oh, it's an exciting time for the Indiana Area School District. All of our Indiana County school districts getting set for the start of school. Lots to do between now and 2 or 3 weeks away from now. Our conversation with the acting superintendent of Indiana Area School District, Rob Heinrich, brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. At what point do you get, Rob, to where you're saying, oh man, we're not going to be able to get all this done? You hope never.
Yeah, we always pull it off in the end, Todd. I mean, our people are very busy this time of year, getting ready for the start of school year, and it's coming real fast. Our schools open up August 30th, as you know, and teachers come before that. So we have to be ready for when the teachers come back, so we can launch the school year. But we'll be there.
Well, there are things that have to happen, that absolutely have to happen in the summertime. And when you get to the month of August, then the schedule gets really compressed because you have to deal, with physical plant stuff.
Absolutely.
Like you got the building in June and July, you work on getting them all cleaned up and painted up and fixed up. Now everything has to be put back in place and get ready for the students and the teachers to come. But meanwhile, you're dealing with the educational aspect of it all and making sure everything's in a row there.
100%. We have a building project happening at East Pike Elementary right now where we're going through some remodeling. So our building is full of construction workers, HVAC experts, and the like, who are doing very important work, but are preventing our guys and gals from getting in there and getting that building ready. So we're constantly monitoring that and hoping that that work comes to conclusion very quickly. Simultaneously, we're meeting with the principals. We had an administrative retreat last week to get all those academic plans ready, to look at the data, where we are, where we want to go, and set some goals for the school year so that we can launch the school year, on a good note and, put our best foot forward here.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think that we maybe don't appreciate enough is the amount of work that a teacher and that a principal and an administration puts into in getting ready, getting prepared for the start of a year. Teachers, even in the summertime, they're thinking about, okay, let's put together a brand new lesson plans to get started on the year. Where do I want to go with my classes this year? The administration is thinking about all the various issues that come up. Meanwhile, you're dealing with the uncertainty of a state budget. All of those things, they're all up in the air, and they're all going to land at some point.
Yes, so they are. It is a little bit like juggling sometimes. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Teaching today is it's such a complex profession. It's very, very stressful, and it's difficult for those teachers. They are looking at data. I mean, there's this idea that teachers have their summers off. It's not really true. They're chomping at the bit, calling my office, asking when they can get their materials, when they can get into their rooms, when they can start looking at their data and really making plans for those kids. No longer is it just what we used to call chalk and talk, where we write the lesson on the board and the kids just gobble it up.
Yeah.
It's very, very personalized now. It's individualized. It's very strategic. So we spend a lot of time looking at data and doing those analysis to make sure that we're putting each kid in the best situation for their success. So there's a lot going on. The principals have to lead all that and make sure that everything's coordinated and ready to go. And so they have to know all the teachers who have to know all the kids' information. So there's a lot going on. And you're right about the budget. The budget impasse at the moment doesn't make things easy because there's a financial aspect to this too that the school board has to deal with. And having the freeze on that funding right now jams up things like our pre-K counts program. Like all that money comes from the state. Some of our teachers' salaries come from the state. So we're okay now, living off our bank account, but soon we have to talk about, do we need to take a loan out? And that's going to cost taxpayers money. So it's a difficult situation to be sure, but we can manage it.
Yeah. Will people notice great changes within the Indiana Area School District with the start of a new school year? Are there new curriculums? Are there new procedures, new equipment, all those new things? Is there a bunch of new stuff to get used to?
Absolutely. The only constant in education is change, Todd. That's what we always say. So not too much this year. Last year we implemented a new math program that really helped our scores a little bit. This year we're focused on writing. We have a new writing program that we're going to run K to 5 and actually pilot at 6, 7, and 8 to see if we can get a consistent and concrete approach to the way all of our teachers teach writing, so that it's not so individualized or by the teacher's preference. So we have that going on. early childhood, we have a new skills program for literacy. So, we're going to hopefully even improve the scores and improve on the growth we've seen there. So a couple of small changes, but nothing crazy. And East Pike should have a brand new, 3 new classrooms and a brand new little space in the middle there. So there'll be some physical changes that people can notice as well.
Yeah, and there are things that people will notice. There probably are many more things that people don't notice, but that are big enough changes from a school. The insider's view of a school district will never see those changes in an outward way, but they're just as important.
Absolutely. We're working very hard right now building the training that the teachers need to implement these programs appropriately, looking at the way that we approach curriculum design and development to make it a more living, breathing document that teachers will have more say and buy into. So there's a lot that goes on for sure behind the scenes, but to produce the final product and make it something we're proud of. But it's a lot of work, but we are proud of it.
When Walter Schroth visited with us a while back, the school board president, he voiced his concerns about something that has really started to take over the whole conversation, not just in education, but in other arenas as well, and that is artificial intelligence and how teachers deal with AI. When you make an assignment to a kid, it used to be, okay, that kid's going to work on that assignment and turn in a paper that's going to be his or her work. It doesn't necessarily work out that way anymore because AI becomes something that can be helpful but can also be harmful as well in terms of a child's educational development. We have to find a way to deal with AI now.
Absolutely. I mean, again, the only constant is change, right? So AI is definitely revolutionizing a lot of different industries. Education is no different. Teachers are pretty in tune with their kids. So when you have a child who struggles with writing and all of a sudden they turn in something that an AI bot produced, they're pretty quickly onto the student's strategy there. And the nice thing is that AI can also help teachers in some ways. If they can find ways to turn AI into a learning tool, because that's what it is. It's a tool. All the technology is a tool that we need to use for good rather than evil. And so we can teach our kids to use it for that purpose, we'll be better off. But teachers can actually use it to create assignments for students. They can use it to. I saw a teacher that wrote a paper. It asked the AI bot to write an essay with 3 mistakes in it grammatically, and then have the students find the mistakes. So little things like that that would take a teacher an hour to produce now takes them 30 seconds. It can be used for appropriate purposes as well if we take the time and just put down our guard a little bit. The other nice thing is there's already AI bots that check to see if things were written by AI bots. So we have technology to check and see and make sure that kids aren't skirting around the system there.
Sure. But those are things that become educational issues, and you have to deal with them. One of the things you mentioned a couple of moments ago about teachers getting into their classrooms in the summertime and seeing how they're set up and maybe getting to work on how they want their classroom to look. My son teaches in another district, and we were in the building just a couple of days ago, and he's got a second classroom now because he's teaching middle school, but now he's picked up some high school, senior high classes. So he's got a second classroom to set up. Went up there, his middle school classroom is almost ready. They've not even started in the senior high classroom. Those are things that teachers, they have to be adaptable creatures. I guess that's what I'm getting at, because you don't know what you're going to have to deal with, whether it's short-term or long-term.
Absolutely. Flexibility and, that resiliency is one of the qualities that we look for in teachers when we're hiring them, because it's so difficult to do. And we try to give them time to get into their classrooms and set it up, but the time it takes to do it really well is so much more than we can possibly give them. That's why you walk into any one of our buildings today, you'll find teachers in there already setting up their classrooms, getting their materials ready, putting bulletin boards up, decorating the room, and not just decorating and make it pretty, but decorating with actual educational tools. Mm-hmm. So they're very thoughtful and resilient people, teachers.
There's some team building that goes on in the weeks heading up to a school year as well, aren't there?
Oh, 100%. I mean, we talked, our administrative retreat that we just had dealt with trust and how we really have to get to the point where teachers, administrators, the community, the students, everyone trusts, and we feel like we belong. Indiana is a place that you want to that people belong, because it's such a powerful thing, that sense that I don't only fit in here, I actually belong here, This is a place that is natural for me. And it doesn't come easy for everybody. So we have to build that team. We have to build that trust and break down the barriers that get in the way from our students reaching their highest potential. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and while we're thinking team building, of course, the athletic teams are going to be getting started here, too. I think Heat Acclimation Camp is next week.
I think it's next week,
Yeah.
I have to check with Dan Roan on that, but yes, I believe so. It's coming fast.
Yeah, it really is. And so you think about the athletics and the extracurriculars that they get rolling in a very big way, and so there will be those will be really active campuses. Something else that we do have a couple of moments left, so let's talk about transportation within the area school district.
Sure.
Every year you have to make adjustments to transportation runs. You have to analyze bus routes. Is this the best route? Are we getting the best use out of our buses, and are they being used most efficiently? All that has to be done. You've got a good transportation team in place there at IASD.
Absolutely. Mike Travis is our transportation director, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. He's working with our bus company to make sure to see just that. Are our bus routes the most efficient possible, not only to get the kids to school in the quickest amount of time, but also at the most effective cost for the taxpayers, too, because it's not cheap to run these kids all over the places they need to go. So that's a never-ending process that they're constantly doing to try to make sure the buses are as full as possible, but also reducing that travel time. We don't want kids sitting on buses for an hour plus.
Sure.
It's just not good for them or for anybody. So just trying to find that sweet spot for the efficiency. That's what they're doing right now. Their bus tickets will be coming out here in the next couple of weeks, so the parents know where they can expect to drop their children off and pick them up.
Oh, here it comes. School year for 2023-24. I don't know what you're doing here, but get up the street and get back to work, will you?
Absolutely. I'm busy, yeah. Thanks.
He's Rob Heinrich, the acting superintendent, Indiana Area School District. Thanks for the visit.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160 and WCCSradio.com. Just about 25 minutes after 9 o'clock. Coming up, Fox News at the top of this hour. But between now and then, we've got CBS Sports on the way.